Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Eric Debonair Donnell, co-owner operator of Two Geeks and Nerds Productions, along with my business partner and brother,
Black Samurai, also co-owner and operator of Two Geeks and a Nerd Productions.
and this is Inside the Nerd, which is spur of the moment title or whatever. We had some other content we were going to shoot today, but for different reasons we decided not to at the moment. But Inside the Nerd is going to be, talking about us. But today we're actually going to be talking about Black Samurai. I want to interview Black Samurai. If you haven't done already, go ahead and like, share, subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, or whatnot. Remember, like, share, comment, and also you can email us at 2geeksandnerdproductions@gmail.com for any questions, concerns, or comments. But let's get right on into it.
And real quick, when you hit that subscribe on our YouTube channel, remember to hit the bell to get all alerts anytime we drop anything.
All of them, all the time. As Black Samurai is dropping stuff all the time. So boom. Pretty much, you know what I'm saying, I wanted to do this because, we haven't done it. And I thought, why not? I guess, tell us how you got into, the comic book, Comic-Con and stuff. I guess you started when you was a kid. And he's told me stories about, the Supermans and all this other stuff. But, how did you get started into it? How were you introduced to all this type of stuff when you were a kid?
Well, back in the day, they would do family programming. So in the mornings, cartoons, weekdays, Monday through Saturdays. They show whatever. Whether back in the day, before the Justice League was known as the Justice League, they were the Super Friends.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the morning cartoons that would come on. Like I said, you had Saturday morning cartoons from early in the morning till probably about maybe 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturdays. But during the weeks, Sundays they would end around 11, 12 too. During the week, forget what time they start, but early. You can get some in before you get into school, but they will still continue after school. So like I said, there's a lot of programming to where you kind of want to be that kid to sit in front of the TV all day. Could have been that kid to sit in front of the TV all day. Once the cartoons would go off, then you have Sesame Street and or Pinwheel. And
Never heard of Pinwheel.
And another kind of puppet type show, and they had two. And for the time period, because I'm older, y'all, so this show came out early 80s, I believe, maybe late 70s. And they actually had for the two humans an Asian woman and a black guy. And there wasn't much representation back then. You get some, but not a lot. But the rest were all puppets. And same concept, Sesame Street, just not as, not on that level of educational. You still got the education. That's another thing, too. We grew up with a lot of education, like stuff to build your self-esteem. Hopefully I'm saying that right. So, tell yourself, I think I can, and taught you manners, all the, whether it was puppets, cartoons, whatever. Even like the Super Friends used to have, like after the episode, you can do this, or you shouldn't do this, you should do that. Same G.I. Joe, same thing. At the end of the episode, I think the Transformers too, but I'm naming off a lot of cartoons, but I'm probably the superhero thing, I don't know, just kind of, as far as the superhero thing, I was just watching TV, so I can't even say how that really developed. Maybe more when I got into anime, and I was into anime before it really got popular, so I was going to the video tape store
to get animes.
Because that's the only way you could get them. That's really... There were a few that came on, but we thought they were American, like the original Voltron, which is called Go Lion in the Japanese version. We thought that was American made. There's one that's called G-Force, but it's Gotcha Man. and we thought that was American made. That's kind of like a Sentai type. They're all birds, and they fought giant robots, aliens from another planet. Typical Japanese anime stuff like that. Robotech, which some of you know is Macross, same thing. So we thought even certain animes, we didn't know they were animes.
Yeah.
Till about Dragon Ball. Then Dragon Ball, we knew that was an anime. In the beginning, we didn't know Sailor Moon, and then it got revealed Sailor Moon was an anime. But yeah, it's hard to say as far as, when I would, as a kid, be creative. So whether it was the actual toys, and we had a lot more toys back then than now. So take the action figures from a cartoon, and I was just coming off top of the dome with making my own episodes. Wasn't even realizing I was just playing, whether I was by myself, because most of the time I was by myself coming up as a kid.
I know I made a lot of, I like zip lines and stuff like that. So my grandpa used to have twine. And I tie some twine, get a paper clip or a safety pin, put it around it, and if it would fit through the little action figure's hand, they have a little zip line. So I get what you're talking about. Or like I remember, what was it? Maybe it was the Optimus Prime truck. I had the trailer, and so it opened up into like a lab and all that. So all that kind of stuff was like super cool.
Yeah.
What about superhero wise? What's the first superhero that you was like, dang, like that dude, that's that guy? Because I know you like Batman, obviously. You know what I'm saying?
Superhero and man.
Well, you just like, yo, I want to be him.
Probably Superman, like most kids, and then you had the original Superman, which we mentioned on our nostalgia night. Had the original Superman, Christopher Reeves. Back then they were wearing spandex. Now they kind of wear rubber suits and they look real good now. But back then, Wonder Woman was wearing a spandex suit. Batman and Robin spandex.
Yeah.
A lot of them were wearing that. But probably Superman, because of course, the obvious, the super strength and flying. Yeah, he had the heat vision, but something about flying. It's like, oh, if I could fly.
Everybody wants to fly, be a bird. That's what I liked about ninjas. They didn't fly, but it's like they could glide across water, run across water and stuff.
Yeah.
So Superman, you still now to this day like?
Probably, to be honest, I lean more towards the females. If I could have a power, I probably would have Storm's powers.
Okay.
She could fly, control the weather, or either Raven's powers.
Yeah, Raven. Yeah, I can see that. Storm definitely super cool. I think Storm has a son, right? Did Storm have a son in the series?
I didn't see the latest series. I don't remember anything new.
I felt like, I don't know, maybe I could be wrong, or whatnot. So definitely, like you said, Superman, because he could fly. But when it comes to like writing and stuff, like when did you first like really want to be like, you know what, I want to create? Or like, I know you draw. Some people don't know or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't have a passion for art. Like, when did they kind of start?
Oh, that started real young. I started drawing even before going to school. I started drawing. And it's funny because I guess if I tell the truth, I want to say this. Parents. Don't discourage your kids. Because honestly, it was up and down. And it was more down than up. Because I can remember one time I drew something in, I think it was for school or something like that, or book reports. Because back in the day, with book reports, I don't know about now, but book reports, the teachers wanted you to draw some of the pictures from out the book. And I remember one time I just didn't feel like doing it, so I traced it. And my mother's like, oh, I know you traced it. I know you traced it. Do it over again. So I redid it over again. And I actually did it the exact way. And she said, oh, I know you traced it. I know you traced it because you don't draw that good. And And the other funny thing too is to skip around. It's funny when there's a lot of competing with drawing too. But a lot of times somebody would try to challenge me and I would let them have it, and I honestly would let them have it just so I could do my own thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't like feeling defeated or anything. Because when you're the good drawer, the best drawer in the class, everybody wants, the teachers too, teachers, your schoolmates, they want you to start drawing, pretty much. And then you kind of want to, at least me, want to draw my own thing. So if somebody would come along, I would just let them go ahead and take it. Now, I wouldn't advise, I mean, it's up to you, whoever. That's the way you want to do it, so you can do your own thing. But to skip a little moment of random, I've learned, let people be. Sometimes you gotta think, let that person think they won. So you can move on to do your own thing, because then they get off your back, and then you don't have distractions, and you don't have to worry about arguments, or if you want to put the energy into proving yourself, which I really would recommend not to do that. You don't have to worry about that anymore.
Now, that's something that a lot of people don't talk about. When we think about competitive stuff, people always think sports. I know also for a fact, like drawing as a kid, man, you want to be the best. Like I know a friend of mine that, like, he could draw Ninja Turtles real good. Like, that was his thing. Yeah. Like, he drew turtles. I drew whatever. My stuff was always abstract, but we were big on, like, who had the best new pencil. Because, you know, mechanical pencils came out. And so, like, you know, man, I spend every dime I had on, if I saw a pencil that was made somewhere else in the world or whatever. I remember, I still got it. It's somewhere in my stuff. It's a green .7 mechanical pencil that came from Germany, and I bought that thing for us at the time. If you spent, I had that, and then I had a one that could change from a pencil to a pen, and I mean, like, you spent $25 as a kid on a pencil. That was a good little grip of change, you know. Like, you like, man, I just spent, like, yo, that cost me money. Like, you fight over that thing if somebody tried to take it or whatever. But people don't talk about drawing as being, like, especially on a child level, it's very competitive. Like, you want to be the best. Now, obviously, in the art world, people have gallery showings and they think that their art is better or has meaning, which it's like anything else. Like, all of it is good. It's just how you perceive it, I guess. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. Yeah. I definitely agree with you on that as far as, like, art being a competition. So you were drawing since you were a kid, and then you got into writing about when?
Probably.
Because he writes everything for us, y'all. Everything, all these scripts and stuff, that's him. It's not me. I'll talk all day. Y'all want somebody to talk? He'll talk too. But the writing, these scripts, the scenes, when did you kind of start doing that? Like, writing storyboards or storylines?
That started back in college. So that was probably around, when I felt confident again. See, writing is, people make writing complicated. No offense to you teachers and you English teachers and all that, but
they don't advocate a lot of creative writing. Unless it's like my daughter's school, they do.
What I learned, and it was more so college, is you can get a good grade. Now, this is just my experience, people say. I don't want no professors and teachers talking about, what are you talking about? My experience, what I realized in college, my freshman year, was if they liked what you wrote about, it could be bad English, pronunciation, if I'm saying that correctly, and the paper will get a high grade. I had several experiences like that, because teacher, and how you might be like, well, how you know? The teacher get excited, read it. If it wasn't too long, they would read it. And I can remember just some back and forths too after a paper. And of course, us as students would get to talking, so it's kind of like then you would know who wrote what.
Mm-hmm.
Also, college actually made me almost stop, to be honest, because trying to satisfy the teacher started to become more of the goal.
Because it's not that creative side. It's a standardized. So, boom. Basic paper growing up.
Mm-hmm.
You got your opening paragraph. You got you do your 3 statements in the paragraph of what you're gonna talk about. Then you do the 3 paragraphs for the body, and then in conclusion you restate the opening paragraph, and we're supporting and all this other crap. Like, there's no creativity within it at all. It's like you say, it's just. And if you don't do it the way they like it, they are going to drag you. I remember finding out I was biology chemistry major. And it would be difficult for me to do formulas the way that they had it in the book. This is at UNC Charlotte. But I could come up with my own formula and get the same answer every time. We had a professor from Wisconsin, as you say, was like, well, you can't get the same answer right every time. And I was like, yeah, I can. So I showed her. I pretty much created a scientific formula. And she couldn't fathom how could I, the student, come up with that, the black student at that. And I'll go ahead and say it. How could he possibly come up with that? And he can't do it this way. It's because our minds work in a different way. That's why I like the creative side. Like, if you want to do a standardized writing course, cool. But I think everybody should be more so in a creative writing side to allow them to think and voice themselves. But that would have a nation of thinkers versus a nation of workers, which is a whole nother topic. We ain't gonna go off into a tangent on that. But that's something that can be talked about. Y'all can comment on it within this if you want to, whatever, and we'll do a show about that.
But I also would go to, just had this memory, almost forgot. They would have the writing, what do you call it? Not courses, but you could go if you wrote something out. You could go to whatever, I guess, office or whatever you want to call it, and someone there would help you with the paper.
Oh, you're talking about in college?
Yeah.
Student resource center, type stuff. Yeah, you're right. They could go and proofread it, and
And when I would do, whether it was regular school stuff or creative stuff, they'd be like, "This is real good." Like, I always was getting and it's so funny, but then the paper wouldn't do as well.
Because they're looking at it from a natural person perspective versus the teacher or professor looking for those elements. It must have blah blah blah. Let's just like in math, you could look at a problem and do it in your head and write the answer. They're like, well, we need you to show your work. Like, how did you get it? Like, okay.
I had a couple of those in math where, not a lot, where I could just look at it and do it in my head. I always hated putting it on paper, and then they would swear you were cheating. And again, we're not bad mouthing y'all teachers.
We know y'all been brainwashed,
but I'm just speaking like he is. We speaking on our experiences now. We're not saying every teacher was this way, but you have those few. Just to make it clear with y'all.
They want you to show your work, and it's like, I've graded papers before because I was a TA in college. You're not looking at every single person's, the way they working. I guess after you see a formula, like a division problem, whatever, and there's only 1 or 2 ways it can be done, I guess you can kind of glimpse at it and look to check or whatever. But it's like, come on, people. It's not that serious.
So my godfather helped me kind of get back in that, because he was like, "You're a writer, you're right, I can tell. You're right." He's a pastor and a prophet. Well, no, he's a bishop now. But, when I met him, he was like, "Oh, I thank God for you." And, me and my god brother / brother, real close, Michael. And, when he met me, he was an encourager. A very strong encourager. Him and my godmother, his wife, and they actually put that drive back into me to be like, okay, you're a writer and you're a good writer. You can actually write, you know, because again, you know, so just telling part of my story to y'all, you know, it's when you have so many people just knocking you down and you're not even sure why. I'm gonna say it's a challenge to believe that you're good, great, or whatever at something. The person I am now, you know, I don't look for that approval anymore now. You know, again, get praise is great. But I tell him all the time and tell people closest to me, don't go looking for praise. And there's something naturally in us that as human beings, we looking for praise and approval. And I will say you will be surprised who you get it from and who you don't get it from. But at the end of the day, even when it comes down to motivation, you shouldn't, I won't say you can't, you shouldn't depend on even being motivated, because one of the things that improvement of life, which is a journey I'm on, mental health I'm on, spiritual health I'm on, all of it, is that you really got to push through. You know, like right now, got a little feeling overwhelmed because there's so much I want to do. And that the funny part is now I know I can do. So now it's kind of, I struggle with catch up, feeling like and you don't have to. Don't drive yourself crazy to believe you gotta catch up because I didn't do this all these years and now I see stuff manifesting and you know your faith is different and it's like, and this is happening for me and great things are happening for me and you get excited and all that stuff like that, and then it's like, oh dang, I gotta make up for this and I didn't do this and now I can do this, and so don't put yourself. This is stuff they don't tell you.
When time is gone, it's gone.
Yeah, pretty much.
You can only do what you can from that moment forward.
Pretty much.
You know, like because I felt like that recently. So, you know how my design room is, and has been. You see it before you go. You be like, okay. And I did it all last night, and that was just me saying, you know what? I'm not gonna be able to get everything in the house done today. I'm not going to be able to do X, Y, and Z. Let me choose one thing today. Now, in the middle of me doing that, I had a vision of a painting that I wanted to do with some spray paint. So I stopped what I was doing, went outside, got the canvas, did what I did, and I think it came out great. Yeah, catching up, I don't, you know, unless it's a foot race, you're not going to catch up. When that time is gone, it's just, you know, understanding like, okay, this is the moment, let me make the most of it. Especially when it comes to creative stuff, because I know exactly how you feel. I got so much that I know I need to do and want to do, but I'm like, pick one thing, do it, move to the next. You know. As far as right now, in your creative journey for writing and stuff, or any art forms, whatnot, like, what's your inspiration or your motivation?
For me, well, with the two geeks, that's, no, I won't say it's easy. I was about to say it's easy. It's not hard, but, you know, we've been focusing on certain series. So like Science Sorcery is one, and focuses on that. A lot of the structure, I honestly have prayed. I'm just going to be real. Prayed and gotten instructions from Lord God. Or Lord God just might tell me something just like that. Like that. Trying to clear up the talk and speak properly.
Yeah.
But some things do come. It just depends. I've always just had this. Like, even still as an adult, we feel, or we get told, imagination's only for kids and children. Then when you become an adult, because you become so preoccupied with work, and then you have a family, then time for yourself, time for your spouse, you know, getting caught up in, well, I don't know if they still use the term rat race.
Yeah.
But getting caught up in a rat race, and then it's like, because it was drilled in me too. So to backtrack, before I just wanted to actually draw for Disney, since I'm a good drawer. That's what I wanted to do. And about in the 9th grade, that's where kind of my own creativity started coming and ideas started coming. And again, with being told what I wasn't, someone be like, "Oh, you're a writer?" I would be like, "No." The only reason why I would say no is because I went off my grades. Mm-hmm. Not even always what the teacher said, but because of papers didn't get A's and B's, or
you didn't think you qualified to be deemed a writer because of the grades.
Pretty much.
Because of what somebody else.
Pretty much. So again, watch that. Not anti-school, but again, whether it's school, I'm not going to sit up here and talk about rebelling against your parents. But some of us know, and I even know some people as grown adults.
But the grade scale is different now too, because Melody's, when they were talking about the grading scale, like a F is like a 40 to a 60.
Yeah, it does depend. Like in my day, it depended on what school